Now let's talk about sizes. Is this 41 millimeter too big or not? For some, it might be. For others, it might be perfect. But on this video, let's talk about what sizes are in and what sizes are out. All right, so in the past, I've had a video where I spoke about watch sizes being too small. For example, on the presidential, I prefer the 41, and now actually even the 40 over the 36, you know? The 40 has grown on me, but it doesn't mean necessarily that I'm trying to put the biggest watch on my wrist where it almost looks like a transformer. But I can definitely say that the times have changed a little bit, and some of the big watches are out. So for example, 48 millimeter, I think is dead in the water right now. It's been quite some time since I've been able to sell a 48 millimeter or anybody has really asked me for one. It's always gonna still remain a niche market where perhaps, you know, there's guys that like those watches or they're big guys themselves with huge wrists. But one of the watches that I say is completely dead is the 48 millimeter Hublot King Power. I mean, those watches are gone. 48 millimeter is just going a little bit too big already. I would say 44 is the threshold of what is the biggest size in today's fashion and trend that can hold in the market. So speaking of 44, not every 44 millimeter case is the same. 44 millimeter AP is not the same as a 44 millimeter Rolex. The AP is gonna be bigger. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I always like to add 1 to 2 millimeter to any size of AP, especially in the offshore lineup. So even for me, I have kind of even noticed right now that the 44 AP is fitting a little big, for the exception of my carbon. I guess things right now in the trend are going a little bit down, as far as size at least. Now this 41 millimeter AP for me fits perfect. You're noticing that the brands are starting to come out with certain models a little bit smaller. Hence the AP Royal Oak Chrono in 38 millimeter. Now that's something that has me a little bit on a toss-up because the 39 millimeter I felt wasn't big. It wasn't small, but it definitely was not big. And I've heard several people comment and tell me that the 38 millimeter Chrono feels very small, almost like for their girlfriend. Not something you want to hear. So again, I think the times of those really big watches could possibly already be at the end. Let me give you a perfect example. The AP Legacy. Beautiful watch as far as the concept goes. You know, the idea, all ceramic with some rose gold. That's a 48 millimeter watch. I think those watches are already too big for today's, for today's trend. Just looks very, very big, especially nowadays when you got all of these like off cheaper brands like Invicta, TW Steel, stuff like that, where they all have monster size cases. So I guess that's kind of maybe where the turnoff comes. AP Legacy, great watch if you can wear it and fit it on your wrist. For me, it's just a little bit too big for today's trend. Have a look at the popularity the last 2 years on the Patek Nautilus and the Aquanaut. Those are nowhere near big watches. They're not big at all. I even mentioned on one of my previous videos that the 5976, the 40th anniversary, where they went with the big size case, I almost thought they went too big. You know, things change, trends change. Even I can say one day I want a big watch and the next day I don't. That's why this is a hobby and that's why things change. But it's safe to say that right now, they're definitely scaling down the size of the watches and they're starting to get a little bit smaller. I only hope they would have done, instead of the Day-Day 40, they should have done the Day-Day 41, where instead of making it smaller in size, they would have just made it thinner in profile. Profile makes a big difference on making a watch look bigger or smaller. Now, I haven't had the chance to yet have one of those 38 millimeter chronos in my hands. The second I do, I will be doing a comparison and a review. However, I do think, and I'm a little worried, that it could be a little bit too small because, like I said, the 39 was right there pushing the edge of the limit in size. I mean, it's almost too small. So the 38 will have to wait and see. But once I get one, I'll be more than happy to do a side-by-side comparison. And if any of you guys out there want that 38 millimeter, I mean, I don't know how tall you are or skinny or whatnot. I mean, it's up to you. At the end of the day, this is all about personal preference and what you like. It is your money, and it needs to make you happy. So if the watch is too big, don't buy it. The watch is too small, don't buy it either. Me personally, the largest watch that I like to wear is a 44 millimeter offshore. And that really depends on the exact model. The gold ones, not so much, but it depends. And the smallest will probably be a 40 millimeter. Whether it's a sub or an Aquanaut, which by the way, there's a big difference between those two watches due to profile and case dimensions or whatnot. But that's kind of the range that I like to be. So feel free to comment below what you think is the right size of watches in today's trend. And don't forget to hit the notifications bell till it looks like this. And if you like this video, please like and share. Also, subscribe to our channel. My name is Eric. This is Watcher Style.